Now can I get you to go absolutely berserk as we report in Charles Firth, Dom Knight, Floyd Alexander Hunt, and fresh from a 40% win rate on Would I Lie to You, Chris Taylor.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence, this is the Chaser Report.
Ow! Podcasting motherfuckers!
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report for Wednesday the 29th of June. How is everyone today?
They're even better than when you asked them in rehearsal.
So what is the first... Oh, I'm the fucking first segment,
I love it. 10 seconds into the podcast, the veneer of professionalism just drops off. If we were doing this in the studio, we'd go back and do a take two. We're not doing a take two, Charles.
So many instructions for you guys as if you're going to be the problem when he fucked up.
I can't believe... I was there going, I wonder whose turn it is.
If anyone's got advice for Charles, do you want to give a warm-up for Charles? Lachlan, do you want to stand up and just do a separate one-on-one session with Charles Firth?
Okay, you can all fuck off. Right. So... okay, so we're going to do a news quiz on this Wednesday morning. Nice thing to kick off the week.
Very Tony Delroy.
And
My references will all be that old tonight.
Yeah. The first... Well, actually, Dom used to run the news quiz, didn't he? Didn't
Were you
Dom...
Tony Delroy briefly?
I used to work with Tony Delroy on ABC Radio. Superannuation will dominate our first hour. That's a literal quote I got said in the studio with me on the evening show every week.
What's the opposite of a Ford promote? A sort of Ford demote.
A forward back slightly away from the podcast. Yeah.
I thought the first topic that we're going to talk about in the news quiz is fast delivery apps. Has anyone used, like MilkRun and Volley and Send? Has anyone used those? Oh yes, you have. Yes, right. Yeah. So
you can tell by the lack of enthusiasm. They've all
used them.
They've kind of been in the news, haven't they? Because I live just too far away for any of them to reach. I think you kind of need to live either in the CBD or in Surrey Hills to gain access to any of them.
Oh, no, yeah.
But
Well, here, Glebe has
Glebe
them.
gets them.
Glebe got them. I bought rats during the pandemic on those things. I was the one person.
You know Glebe already had rats.
Yeah.
There's a whole sewer down there.
Hey, MilkRun is really good. I use MilkRun all the time.
Yeah, well,
that's
there
how I
we
get
go.
my dinner, groceries, everything.
Okay.
And MilkRun's meant to be the only one that's surviving. The others are falling over
Yeah, well,
because
that's
their capital, their venture capitalism is all running out.
Yeah, so Send collapsed last week.
Return to sender.
Volley this week, a couple of days ago, decided to sack half its staff.
Yeah, all their staff went to MilkRun within 10 minutes. It was very efficient.
But when I used MilkRun, right, I was amazed. I agree with you. Like, it was the most amazing. So I was having to self-isolate or something. It was a few months ago. And the promise is that it'll be there in
Not because of
10...
COVID, we just got the shits with it.
Yeah.
And
Said, fucked up the warm-up.
Charles, you do 14 days.
I was too boring, Anyway, no, and then they said, oh, it'll be here in 10 minutes. And I just ordered a whole lot of stuff. And it was there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
and it doesn't really cost that much more either.
No.
And you sort of go, how does this make money?
Do you know the answer? I actually covered this today on radio. Every single time they deliver it costs them $10. It is the shittest business since WeWork. Every time they cut...
They lose money.
Yes.
They bleed money. It's sort of the Netflix
They've raised
model.
$75 million from venture capital. Every time someone comes to your house, it costs them $10, which makes me... Why the fuck hasn't the Chaser started an instant delivery business?
It would almost be cheaper for them if they hired a prostitute to deliver all the groceries than pay these people actual money.
Yes.
But it's like, as I say, it's sort of like the Netflix
Wait,
model.
what?
I think
I want
Let's
to
circle
deconstruct
back.
that.
Let's circle back. Yeah. Let's circle back. What?
I think Chris heard quick, and his first thing was, that's just like a prostitute. Yeah.
I assume they charge by the second.
Finishes the delivery within 10 minutes every single time. It's very impressive.
So the prostitute arrives at 8 minutes. No, but did you find, because mine came at like 1 minute too. At 8 minutes, I was like, there's no way they're going to make it. I was pissed off when they arrived at 9. I was like, I said you weren't going to make it.
I wonder if they've all got, like, apparently, they say like they all hang out in a warehouse in your suburb.
Are we talking about prostitutes? Or
No, we're back on.
Okay, got it. Yeah, got it. Cool.
I reckon they've just got sleeper cells. Every one of us here in this room have one of these MilkRun fuckwits living underneath our house, just waiting for the call. It's the only way they can do the 10-minute thing, surely.
Well, they're like convenience stores throughout the whole. They've just got like giant
Warehouses.
MilkRun. Yeah, they're all over the place. It's genuinely scary. I think they're stalkers, basically.
Okay, so first question is, given that this is a quiz, by the way.
Right.
So question number one. So it costs $10 per order to deliver the MilkRun sort of thing. Is this, according to the founder of MilkRun, a brilliant business model and, quote, the future of e-commerce in Australia? Is it B, a terrible business model, or C, a vast improvement on what it used to do and how much it used to cost?
Or is it D, a cheap way to meet prostitutes?
Yeah. Okay, yes, that's the answer.
I mean, it's basically we work on bikes, isn't it?
Yeah, no. So, but the founder. So the answer is A.
Yeah, it sounded like a specific quote.
It is the future of e-commerce in Australia and not just the world. And he claims that by 2024, it will make, this is honestly true, it will make more per customer than Amazon in the US. Imagine buying, into that dream.
In all seriousness, do you know how they're going to do it? And this
How?
is absolutely true. They've thought about what they can do, and selling groceries, no one wants that. Cost of living is expensive. They're going to sell fucking booze. That's the way it's going to actually make money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not MilkRun. It's MilkRun. There's Kahlua in the milk.
Kahlua and
gentlemen.
MilkRun, right.
Kahlua. Is it just Kahlua? Is that the only?
It's
booze?
basically Jimmy Brings and cut out Jimmy seems to be the model.
Yeah, right. Okay.
None of the medical advice contained in the Chaser report should legally be considered medical advice. The Chaser report.
What they actually were blaming was for the cost blowout was actually staffing costs, right? And what he explained today in the Herald was that everybody got sick all at once and all had to self-isolate, right? And so they had to get a whole lot of casuals in because they couldn't get enough staff because everyone was locked down, which is when demand for their product surged. So demand surges for their product when their staff costs blow out, right? So given that problem, how much, before it's cost $10 per order and they're losing a whole lot of money, how much did it cost before they ran into these problems? Were they losing $3 per order? Were they losing $5 per order? Or was it making money?
Definitely not making money.
Yeah.
The most money. They were losing the most.
Yeah.
Whatever the most
money.
is. I thought it was $13 an order.
They were losing $40 per order before the lockdown. So there you go.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
How do I not have shares in this thing?
You do. It's called the Chaser. Exactly the same business
I
model.
actually do have shares in the Chaser. It hasn't worked out well.
Yeah, MilkRun should start a live podcast. It's the last one to really.
Well, with alcohol, and then it would go really well.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, we started a newspaper which gave you topical jokes a week after the event happened in the Post.
Yes.
So very similar to MilkRun, really.
Okay, next question is about the census. The census figures started coming out today. And
Delivered by MilkRun, and it was amazingly quick.
amazingly quick.
When did we answer that census? It was like
A year ago.
pre-pandemic.
A year
was
ago.
it? It was a year ago, was it? Right.
Dementia is now...
What we saw from Charles at the beginning of the episode when he couldn't remember he was his first up.
Dementia is now the 11th most common health condition in Australia. What is the 11th most common condition in Australia?
Dementia is a really serious problem that affects Charles every time we do a podcast. It is tragic.
Well, actually,
give generously.
Talking of our podcast, what is the top top health condition in Australia?
That hurts your health.
Yes. Depression. Yes, depression and anxiety.
I thought you were going to say wanting to start a podcast was the most unhealthy
that's the
thing.
same
in
That's the
Australia.
same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a symptom.
Charles has always had a great radar for comedy topics. It's like dementia, depression, anxiety. Then he'll throw to the panel and say, make comedy gold of this. I almost want to get back to the MilkRun. I mean, I don't. We all know that ran its course 40 minutes ago, but I'd almost rather discuss MilkRun for another hour than
Actually,
try to find laughs in dementia.
It's a good point. That topic should really have lasted for 10 minutes, shouldn't it? No longer.
Let's break it down though. So
There's
depression.
early onset dementia, there's Alzheimer's.
They're already broken down, Charles.
Okay, so which age group suffers the most depression and
How old are you,
anxiety?
How
Charles?
old are you? Yeah.
46.
Well, A, is it older people who own multiple homes and get tons of franking credits all the time? Is it B, middle-aged people who were able to buy their houses 15 or 20 years ago, when they were still affordable? Or C, was it younger people who can't afford to buy a fucking stick of broccoli anymore, let alone a fucking apartment with a functioning roof?
You have some thoughts, sir?
Yeah, that person owns a few houses, I could tell. I think it's the founder of MilkRun, Charles.
Yeah.
Correct!
Who's being asked to deliver broccoli that doesn't exist to people in 10 minutes? How do you do that?
It's clearly poor old millennials, isn't it?
It'll be the young
Yeah.
people.
It's 25 to 29-year-olds. They broke it down very specifically.
Wow.
So.
Wait, so why are 20-year-olds fine? They don't have wrinkles or something?
Well, it's sort of like it's literally you basically you hit about teenagehood, and then the graph starts going up. Everyone gets depressed. You peak in depression at about the age of 29, and then
That's how old I
goes
am.
down. Yeah,
This is based
But I
on...
That's
did
why
that-
I'm here tonight. Okay, it's all making sense.
but
right.
presumably that's where the dementia kicks in. People
No, it
just
doesn't-
forget that they're
it doesn't
depressed.
kick in at 29.
How many
Well, it did
weeks...
for me.
How many weeks can young people look forward to where the depression stops and the dementia kicks in? Like, does everyone get a good fortnight?
Yeah. But surely, does the depression go away when you get the dementia because you keep forgetting
You
you're
forget.
depressed?
I think so. Yeah.
No, it recurs every day. And this is what happens to me. I wake up and I go, shit, what have I fucking done with my life? I wake up and I'm in a satirical comedy group that used to be big 10 years ago, and every single day. It's hideous.
Too much laughter at that one.
I'll take it where I can find it.
I wonder, though, this is almost a semi-earnest point. It's actually a fully earnest point. I wonder, though, if all age groups probably experience levels of mental health, but millennials are more comfortable with on a public form, such as the census, more comfortable with owning it. Whereas my parents would be awfully screwed up, but I don't think they'd have. It would almost be a point of pride, if you know what I mean, to register themselves as mentally unwell. Whereas today, it almost seems okay. Everyone's a lot more
in touch.
Millennials.
So you're saying that millennials are whingers?
No,
right?
I'm saying
Millennials
the
are...
data is probably wrong because it might be just what it might be measuring is a greater comfort with acknowledging mental health amongst young people.
They're just
than old
more
people.
honest about the absolute lack of hope in humanity. Right. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're having fun.
Maybe,
what's-
but
you're-
hold on, I
you're
was
in
going
the
to say
demo.
maybe it's because I'm a millennial, but maybe it's because older people have dementia, so they forget to fill out the census.
Yes, yeah.
Could also be that. What were you going to say? I'm a millennial.
Yeah. So are you terribly depressed and anxious about everything?
You invited me to do this podcast, so I'm just going to open up. I am depressed about being 29. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. You're
I'm
literally
29.
in the danger zone.
It's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the worst year of your life.
This is the worst.
Oh, well, it all gets better from here.
Does
Yeah.
it?
As soon as we stop the podcast, it's going to look up.
Can I just anyone who's 30 and above in the room? Can we just all reassure? 30 is like the greatest year of your life. 29 is awful.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
20s generally suck. I mean, you have youth, but that's all you've got.
Yes.
You don't have jobs. You don't have fucking broccoli.
Yeah.
When you hit 30 and 40
Yes.
and you're given a modicum of the minimum wage, things really turn around.
Yes, yes.
No?
No.
Oh. You peaked at 18. But yeah, like,
Speaking of millennials who are too
Open
keen to come
about
forward with their opinion. All right.
Okay, and we'll just do one final question, which is, of course, there's been a lot of supply chain issues, broccoli, that sort of thing. One surprising result from the census was that Australians eat 4 kilograms of avocados a year. Right.
I do not remember this question in the census.
What?
Was there an avocado question?
What does the Chief Executive of Avocados Australia, John Tyus, recommend Australians do? Does he recommend increasing the number of avocados Australians eat each year, decrease the number of avocados Australians eat each year, or wait, there's an organisation called Avocados Australia?
Yeah, they're the ones who are dedicated to stopping millennials from buying houses. It's a terror group.
The big avocado industry has been having a grip on Australia for far too long. And ironically, Big Avocado haven't actually built a big avocado.
We fact-checked that. Lachlan, is there a big avocado? And if there is, can we get it on the screen? I want it up on the screen.
It'd be in Redfern, if anywhere, like the home of avocado on toast.
Well, also, they'd build the big avocado, wouldn't they? And people would just smash it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Millennials.
So the answer is...
I think he'd probably want to increase avocado consumption.
Correct, Chris. And he wants every Australian to eat 6 kilograms of avocados a year. Because there's a huge oversupply problem at the moment, and they're not allowed to export it anywhere. So we're going to be stuck with a glut of avocados.
If anyone can use MilkRun to get an avocado delivered here by the end of the podcast, I will scull a beer.
I will scull an avocado.
The challenge is yours, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's the end of the quiz. Please applaud. Hey! Our gear is from Rode Microphone, and we are part of the Acast Creator Network. Catch you tomorrow.